Okay, let me copy the supplier's name and also the lead time. Okay. Then I paste it in a new sheet. Yeah, this question are related. These questions are for pets. That was 2 sample meat. Yeah, so now we are in ANOVA. Okay, let's say this is the your data. You only need supplier and the lead time. Yeah, because this is our question. And then if you have this, yeah, let's look at the. You see, this is one. Lebih daripada 2, so kita kena guna ANOVA. Kalau setakat 2 saja, kita independent sample, right? And for this ANOVA, if you write the hypothesis, yeah, so that will be quite different reading. Right? Okay, how is it different? So let's look at this one with ANOVA. Okay, so how do you write the hypothesis? Now, based on the question, right? Based on the question, you have this is the question, right? Determine if the mean lead time, so the variable that you are going to test is lead time, right? Variable di sini adalah lead time. And then what are the groups? You have this group, right? Column sheeting, durable product, and monthly valve. So if you have only 2 products, yeah, 2 suppliers, then you use two sample mean, 2 independent sample mean. But now because you have more than 2 suppliers to compare on the mean, yeah, mean adalah variable kita, and then we have 3 groups. Here we have 3 groups, so we need to use ANOVA, right? And then first you need to write your you have to define your meal because you have 3 groups now. Yeah, so you define your meal 1 as mean lead time for alum sheeting, and mean lead time for durable product for meal 2, and for meal 3 is mean lead time for memory valve, right? So kita ada 3 group, and from here you can write, yeah, construct your hypothesis now. So now maksudnya all the means are equal, right? All the means for the three groups, alum sheeting, durable product, and manifold are equal to 0, right? So in other than write the statement, right, you can also write mu1 equals mu2 equals mu3 and equals 0, right? So maksudnya semua mean untuk tiga group ini adalah sama. That is null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis, you must write mu1 not equal to mu2 not equal to mu3 not equals to 0. So maksudnya setiap mean untuk tiga group ini adalah berbeza, tidak sama dengan kosong. Or in the statement, you can write at least one of the mean is different from the other, right? At least one of the mean is different from the other. In the statement, you can write that, okay? And then this is the step, the first step. Second step is, right, second step is you have to determine the significance level. Here, because we have the type 1 error, right? So we just decide that the type 1 error is only at 5%, right? And we are 95% confident that type 1 error can be reduced. And then from here, you run the analysis. Yeah, you can run the analysis. Okay, let me demonstrate the hands-on, yeah, because previously, last class, you just look at the steps in the picture. Okay, first you need to sort according to the supplier's name, right? To do this, so you look for go to data and then you can click this sort. When you sort it, make sure the lead time also sort together. Jangan sort yang supplier column saja. Both supplier and lead time must be sort together. So when I click this sort, so you see yang ni pun dah berubah kan. So that means this number of name, supplier's name and the lead time are sort accordingly. Then next, you can just copy the name, right? Sebab kita ada 3 nama kan, right? So you just copy the name, alum sheeting, variable dia adalah lead time, yeah. So you need to get the variable. Okay, this is the variable because we want to look for the mean kan. Kita nak cari mean, so kita kena cari semua lead time yang berkaitan dengan alum sheeting, and then we have the durable product. So for this durable product, make sure you copy all the durable product, the supplier's lead time. Then you put it in, rearrange it in another column, right? And then next we have the memory wall. Okay, so letak nama dulu dekat sini, and then only copy the lead time, right? Kita nak lead time untuk calculate dia punya mean. So make sure the number of the supplier you need to select all the number of suppliers according to these 3 names. Okay, so yang ni lah kita punya susunan, right? Daripada raw data, right? From the raw data you select, yeah, and then you can copy it in and paste it in the new sheet, and then you sort it, and then you rearrange here. Okay, next you go to data, click on data analysis, and this is ANOVA single factor. Why single factor? Because we only look at one variable kan. So variable di sini adalah lead time, right? Variable di sini adalah lead time, dan kita ada 3 group. That's why kita kena guna ANOVA, right? Okay, I click this, and then I need to select the data in Excel. Okay, so I check label in the first row. So alpha is 5%. So my output, I paste it here, right? So this is the step. Right, saya rasa semua dah tahu. Okay, Yeah, you have studied this before in the statistical method, right? The statistical method. And when you select, when you run the analysis kan for ANOVA, yang betul dia akan keluar these three groups, shifting, durable product, and reward, and the count, the number of observation, the sum of the group and right, and to run the you look at the you can conclude, based on you can make decision first, based on critical value approach. You compare these two, and we found that the critical value is smaller than after statistic, right? So here the decision is reject each O. And then we look at we want to double confirm using p-value approach, to keep the p-value compared with alpha. So p-value is smaller than alpha. So the decision in this p-value approach is also reject each O. So what we can conclude here is that the mean decline for the three suppliers, alum shipping, durable product, and memory off, are different from one another. So this is the conclusion, right? And same goes to the yang kedua lah. Ini pun sama. As long as you have more than two groups, and then you want to compare on the mean, so you need to use ANOVA, right? And you see semua group ini, right, walaupun variable yang sama, that is lead time, but many verbs are different from Hauki fastener, and Hauki fastener are different from alum shipping. So yang ni maksudnya the data here, all the data are independent from one another. Durable product lead time is not influenced by alum shipping. Alum shipping lead time cannot influence the memory of alum shipping. So this data set in the here we based on 4 suppliers, they are independent of one another. Dia tidak saling berkaitan. Okay, any questions on this?
Madam, I think your connection a little bit poor. Sometimes the like
my connect. You mean my connection? My internet connection?
yes, madam.
Okay. If there's disruption, you have to let me know. So maybe I need to readjust, or I have to use. Now I'm using my hotspot, but if this hotspot is not working, so maybe I can try to use the UITM punya Wi-Fi. So what about now? Is that okay? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, okay.
Okay, if that happens again, let me know, ya. Otherwise, saya tak tahu. Yeah, just proceed saja. Okay, so far, do you have any questions on one-way ANOVA? If you don't, then maybe we can look at the tutorial, right? Okay, okay. So for this tutorial, look at this is my lecture, so I have to go to your group tutorial. Divider, okay, so we are, okay, we are over, you can see. So for the tutorial, you have 4 groups, I mean 4 questions. Yeah, purchase orders. Yeah, test whether any of the 3 suppliers like this have a different mean lead time. Consumer transportation survey, is there any significant difference exists in the number of vehicles? Okay, class, can we look at the question here? Okay, can we look at the first one? Yeah, you need to use the purchase order and then test whether any 3 suppliers, yeah, Fasti Aerospace, Haki Fastening, and Stripin Incorporation has the different mean lead time. Okay, if you look at the question, the first question, yeah, dia punya variable, what is the variable, yeah, for question number 1? What is the variable? Apakah pemboleh ubah yang kita ada di sini, right? So if you, yeah, you gonna make sure you know what is variable, because nanti you nak buat yang group project, biasanya student akan salah kat sini, dia tak tahu variable itu apa. Okay, and then talking about the group project, yeah, so next week I will give you the link for you to collect data, right? Collect the data, you distribute the questionnaire to the respondents, and each group, yeah, you need to get at least 40 responses, at least 40 responses, depending on your group. If you have 5 groups, 5 members in a group, yeah, so each one collect 10 responses, right? Yeah. So next week, 1 more week to go, then you have your mid-sem break again. So during the mid-sem break, you can start to collect data. Okay, and then now talking about this, yeah. Okay, the variable is lead time, yeah. So the variable is lead time. So lead time is the variable. And then we have 3 groups now of the supplier. So that's why we have this ANOVA, right? Okay, for consumer transportation survey, is there any significant difference exist in number of hours per week in vehicle by truck, SUV, and minivan drivers? So you see, truck, SUV, and minivan drivers ini adalah dia punya elemen, ya, elemen. So kita ada truck drivers, SUV drivers, and minivan. So what we want to test it on? Kita nak test on, kita nak lihat dia punya number of hours per week. So yang ni adalah kita punya mean, kita nak cari mean untuk yang, right? For these 3 groups, right? See, more than 2 groups, you're gonna guna ANOVA. Okay, insurance survey. Is there any significant difference exists in satisfaction among individuals with different level of education? So different level of education, you see di sini education tu dia ada dalam level saja, right? Either you have the college degree, university degree, and so on and so forth, right? So yang tu adalah elemen, dia punya elemen. Dan yang ada mean, ada numerical values adalah satisfaction, right? Satisfaction is the mean. You want to determine whether this 3 education level, they have the same satisfaction atau different, right? And then the last one is stock dividend yield. So the analysts would like to know whether there is any subsectors with different dividend yield, right? So 3 subsectors, I suppose that you have the, I can't remember, maybe satu adalah financial sector, insurance sector, and so on and so forth, yeah. And what is the variable? You say with different, so subsector yang ni tak ada, dia tak ada number kan, dia tak ada nilai, ya. Yang ada nilai adalah dividend yield, right? So this is your mean. Yeah, you need to determine the mean of these 3 subsectors. Okay, so kita guna ANOVA. Are you okay so far? Are you okay so far? Do you have any questions?
Madam, can you repeat for the question 4?
Question 4, okay. So subsectors can, if you have the stock dividend yield, you have 3 sectors, yeah, the other 3 sectors is to, I can't remember exactly what are the subsectors, but I just give you example, like you have the financial sector, you have the education sector, you have the health sector, so ada 3 sectors apa. And then these sectors are the element, sama dengan SUV, truck dan van. Dia adalah group saja, dia adalah element, right? So you have 3 groups, you have this one more than 2 groups, then you need to run one-way ANOVA, and then to run one-way ANOVA using single factor. Single factor maksudnya you kena tahu apakah variable dia, single variable, single factor tu sama. So variable yang digunakan dalam question number 4 kan adalah dividend yield. So dividend yield ini adalah you have the numerical values kan. For each of this sector, you have berapa dividend yield dia, right? So you use this to determine the mean, right? So setiap satu ni dia ada dia punya variable lah atau dia punya factor, right? So dia ada group juga. So group yang kita lihat tadi adalah contohnya kalau yang pertama, so pasti aerospace, okay, fastener, steel pin, yang ni adalah group atau elemen. And then you have this truck, SUV, minivan, yang ni pun adalah group atau dia punya elemen. And then for the education level, you have secondary school level, you have the university college, so you have to look at the insurance survey, right? Dia punya education level ada 3. So these 3 are the element atau the group, yeah, to compare with. And then what you need to compare, you have to for the mean of the satisfaction. So satisfaction is the variable, your factor, right? You punya factor adalah satisfaction. And for the stock dividend yield, your factor is dividend, right? Boleh ke?
Boleh, Madam.
Okay, so if you are fine with that, so let's look at tutorial list. So group 1, saya refer siapa? Group 1, Yana, Dia atau Karina? Okay, tak ada. Can we go to group? Ismi, Azra atau Zurin?
Izmi, madam.
Ismi. Okay, okay. This is number. Okay, is there any difference again in the number of minivan? Yeah, so you have this 3 groups kan? Ada elemen pertama truck, SUV, and minivan. So yang ni adalah dia punya number of hours per week, right? These are all the numerical values. So you need to use one way ANOVA single factor. One way ANOVA atau kita panggil sebagai ANOVA single factor. Okay, from here, yeah. Meal 1 is mean number of hours per week in vehicle by truck. Meal 2 SUV, and then van. Okay. So now hypothesis, all the mean of the 3 groups are equal. Alternative hypothesis, at least one of the mean is different from, or not all the mean are equal. Or you can write this way, right? So critical value approach, your F test statistic is smaller than your F critical, so decision is reject. Right. Decision is correct. Decision, yeah. So this one also p-value is larger, right? And p-value. So decision is do not reject, yeah. Okay, the mean number of hours per week in the vehicle by the 3 groups are the same, right? So that's your conclusion. Yeah, correct. And so next kita lihat yang we look at the tutorial group yang sama dengan kumpulan ISMI. Question 2, right? Question 2. Okay. Group 6, saya refer yang mana? Group 6. Oma, Eha atau Jana?
Jana, madam.
Jana. Okay. This is one sample. Okay, Jana, one way. Okay, ini ya, this is you punya output adalah sama dengan yang kumpulan ISMI. And then mu1, mu2, mu3, okay. But in your task kan, atau in your when you want to answer your group project, yeah, you have to write everything, yeah. You don't put this short on. Boleh ke Jana?
Boleh, madam.
Okay, mu1, mu2, mu3. Okay, now hypothesis betul. Okay, critical value approach, you have this, okay, p-value. Okay, so decision do not reject. So the number of hours per week in the vehicle by these 3 variables are not significantly different like this. Atau and minivan are the same, pun boleh juga. Atau have no significant difference, yeah. There is no significant difference exists among the 3. Yeah. There is no significant difference exists on the number of hours per week in the vehicle among the 3 drivers, such as truck, SUV, and van. Yeah, so ini pun boleh. So cuma yang ni kena bagi sikit. Okay, Jana?
Madam.
Okay, next. Okay, we look at, so yang ni belum, yeah. This one, no, not yet. So the rest, yang ni dah. Well, I don't think that means everything is okay. And then next we have Mira, Faiza, and Humaira for 1B, question 3. Verify yang mana? Adakah? So if now, can we look at question group 4? Unaida, Atika, and Ayu. Question number 4. Yeah, I refer to Snyder. Okay. So maksudnya I refer to the first name, yeah, the tutorial group leader. Snyder 1B. Okay, determine, they would like to know whether there is any sector with different dividend yield. Okay, so yeah, so the group, the 3 subgroups, insurance, banking, and other financial subsector. So kalau you ada yang ni appear dekat sini, maksudnya you dah pilih group yang betul lah, right? And then your F-test is this. Kalau kita lihat sini, tak signifikan juga, ya. Okay, let me one is dividend yield for insurance subsector. So di sini you kena tambah lagi mu kan, mu is the population mean. So you kena tulis di sini mean dividend yield for insurance sector, mean dividend yield for banking for mu2, and then mu3 is the mean dividend yield for the other financial subsector. So semua ni kena tambah mean, ya. And you have this, okay. Critical value approach. So here, Humaira, can you look at this? Are you sure that you have decision? Do not your decision reject HO? Humaira? Yeah, you have to be careful on this, yeah. You see, both of the approach, again, yeah, p-value compared with alpha, p-value is larger, and then critical value comparing F-test statistic, critical value pun besar. So, yang ni approach tu betul lah cara you tulis kan, but the decision is incorrect. So, decision is do not reject HO, right? So, your conclusion is also incorrect. Yeah, Humaira, are you okay? Faham ke? Kenapa yang ni salah? Nanti Humaira you boleh baiki lah, because maybe you need to revise your tutorial question. So you're gonna buat correction. Okay, and then okay, good. And yes. Sorry. Who's Naida? Who's Naida? Who's Naida kan? Saya panggil Humaira. Okay, sorry about that. So who's Naida? Patut tak ada orang jawab kan? Who's Naida? Okay. So who's Naida nanti ya yang penting adalah you all tahu kan decision tu macam mana. So I hope now you understand how do you make decision using p-value and critical value approach. Sebab kalau kita buat decision yang besar tak betul, then kita punya conclusion pun tak betul. So di situ dah mungkin dua markah ke 3 markah gitu, right? So kalau boleh kita nak semua betul. Okay, terus Naida. Okay. Next we have okay, we look at group 5, kumpulan Zahir, Ideal dengan Miro. Ya, kali ini nak I refer to
Idea saya dah bracket.
Ideal. Oh, dalam bracket. So Ideal make sure that Zahir dengan Miro pun faham ya. Ideal. You all buat sekali kan? Ya. I hope semua dalam grup tu you all buat sekali. So siapa yang faham boleh ajar kawan yang kurang faham ya. So you all boleh selepas tutorial discussion ni you all dah boleh lebih faham ya dia punya konsep. Okay, yang ni Ideal punya. Okay, determine if the mean lead time for alum sheeting, durable product, and mean revolve are different. So kalau you run ANOVA single factor,
Tutorial.
ya, terputus
Yang tu hands on.
Okay, sekarang macam mana? Okay,
Bukan, yang tu hands on. Yang bawah tu baru tutorial.
yang that's hands on. Okay, okay. Nanti idea you boleh tulis tutorial kan, hands on, and then this is the tutorial. Yang ni kan? I need to baca. Yang ni ke tutorial?
Ya, madam.
Okay, test whether any of three suppliers can have a different, they have different mean lead time. Okay, so you have these three suppliers and the mean lead time for the three suppliers respectively. And then, this is how you write your hypothesis. Critical value approach, yes. Di sini kita nampak after statistic is larger, right? P-value pun lebih kecil daripada alpha, decision reject HO, ya. Conclusion is the mean lead time for the three suppliers have different, the mean lead time kan different from one another, right? The mean lead time for are different from one another. Yeah, correct. Okay, and then ANOVA saya rasa yang ni yang paling senangnya ANOVA. And then next we have yang start dari belakang. So Jana dah siap kumpulan Ideal, Group 5, terus Naida pun dah. Kumpulan Mira. Kumpulan Mira dengan kumpulan pertama. Okay, Mira, group saya refer yang mana? Adakah kumpulan Mira? Mira, Faiza dengan Humaira. Kumpulan 1? Diana, Dia and Karina pun tak ada. So yang ni dua grup tidak respon. Okay, class, I think if you have no question, we will continue the other one, ya. So kita ada satu lagi. Okay, for those who have this, question 1 and question 3. Again, I can show you the answer. Question 1. Question 1 is about vacation survey. Question 1 and question 3. So we have question 1 is purchase order. Question 3 is insurance survey. Oh, insurance survey? Belum lagi. Okay, insurance survey. So we look at insurance survey. This is insurance survey. Okay. So you see, like what I mentioned, satisfaction is the mean. Yeah, you want to look for the mean, kan? So, but satisfaction is the numerical values, yeah. So you need to rearrange macam yang tadi, rearrange the education. There are 3 education lah, college graduate, college degree, and degree. And dia punya satisfaction, yeah, in numerical values, you rearrange macam ni. And then you need to define atau let your mu1 equals apa, right? And then you write your hypothesis, and then this is your result. So from here we know that the critical value, p-value semua adalah reject H4, right? So your p-value, you
Madam,
compare this. Yes?
sorry for interrupt, Madam.
Yeah.
Saya nak tanya, macam mana nak tahu hipotesis kita tu equal or not equal to zero ataupun tak perlu masukkan equal to not equal to zero?
Untuk ANOVA kan, untuk ANOVA sebab kita ada 3 grup kan, so biasanya dia akan macam ni saja. Untuk 2 sample atau 1 sample, then you kena baca soalan. For ANOVA, kita nak compare 3 grup tu, dia adalah berbeza atau dia punya adalah sama. So dalam ANOVA memang dah fix dia punya hypothesis. Now semua kena equal it to 0, right? Ini equals to 0. And then untuk yang equal 0, so not equal 0. Not equal 0 tu maksudnya berbeza lah. Okay, mungkin mu1 tolak mu2 dia dapat 2. Mu2 tolak mu3 dapat 3 kan. So it's not equal to 0. Maksudnya semua ni adalah berbeza. Kalau now hypothesis kita solat semua, dia adalah sama dengan kosong. That means tiga-tiga ni adalah sama. Right? So memang for ANOVA, one way single factor. One way ANOVA single factor kan, memang dia punya hypothesis now and alternative you have to write in this way. Boleh tak?
Okay, Madam.
Okay, and then your decision is reject H4. Yeah, your p-value is also smaller than alpha. Decision adalah reject. Yeah. Okay, so another one is another one is purchase order. Purchase order, I'm not sure whether I have that. Ya, mungkin saya tak buat yang tu purchase order. 2 samples saja. Yeah, but more or less the same, yeah? You all ada more or less the same. Don't have that. Okay, any more questions on ANOVA? Okay, I give you 5 minutes break, atau around 5 minutes. So we will start at 8:58, yeah? So we want to look at another hypothesis, 8:58. Okay, another hypothesis, so you have to go to the mass lecture. Nota dia dekat mass lecture. Okay, you can go for a quick rest atau quick breakfast atau quick drink, and you want to look at the, so it's under content library. We'll go back to yang ini. Right, so we have done, okay, 1, 2, 4. So tinggal lagi 3 and 5. So 3 hari ini, 5 to next Monday. Right? Okay, see you in a short while. This is what we want to look at sample. We need to have this data. We're gonna get rid of this data power foundation. Right. Yeah, at the same time, in case you have any question, you can just ask me. Okay, class, are you back?
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you, Adil. Okay, you can also refer to the notes, right? Your notes there. So this is one way ANOVA. This is how you write your hypothesis. So in the null hypothesis, semua mu adalah sama. And in the alternative hypothesis, you can write mu1 not equals to mu2 not equals to mu3. Or you can also write in a statement saying that at least one of the mean is different from the others. Yeah. Or not all the means are equal. Okay, now we want to look at the fourth hypothesis. Hypothesis yang keempat, right? That is the two sample, right? We also have this two sample, but this time the two samples are dependent, right? Yeah. Sampel dua-dua ni adalah saling berkaitan. So the two samples are dependent. Previously, we also have two sample, but the two group are independent. For example, alum sheeting dengan alum sheeting and durable product, the lead time, these two groups have independent. These two groups also looking at the lead time, but these two groups are not depending on one another. They are independent, right? So for this, what we are going to look at today, so we have two sample as well, two sample tasks for the mean with PET sample, right? PET sample tu maksudnya dua-dua group adalah saling berkaitan, right? So in this situation, yeah, you can see here. Okay, in many situations, the data from the two samples are naturally paired atau matched, right? When PET samples are used, a PET test, t-test is more accurate than assuming that the data comes from independent population. So with that, if you have the two PET sample, so you have to differentiate by having mu D. Kena ada D. So mu D is the mean difference between the PET sample, right? So biasanya dekat null hypothesis, you can write mu D either greater than or equal to, about less than or equal to, or you can write equals to 0, right? However, for alternative hypothesis, you kena tulis mu D, ya. Mu D itu maksudnya the mean differences lah. Yang ni nak beza antara independent two sample dengan two PET sample. Yang tu yang nak bezakan, ya. If you have the alternative hypothesis, you can write mu D, yeah, either less than or greater than or not equal to 0, right? So pilih salah satu lah. And yang ni sama dengan kita punya pairing hari tu saya tunjuk dekat Microsoft Teams for one group and also for two group. But for all the null hypothesis, untuk semua hypothesis, for the null hypothesis, you're gonna add the equal sign. So you see here, ada equal kan, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, atau equal to. But alternative hypothesis kita tak boleh ada equal sign. Okay, okay, so this is how you run the hypothesis. Nanti, okay, before we look at this, let's go to the class notebook. I put this in the lecture, dekat lecture. So for PET sample, I have two examples here. Saya ada dua contoh di sini lah. Okay, the first example, as you can see from here, there are 5 students, and this is the math scores. Okay, the first example shows the 5 students math score before the tuition class. yeah, before their tuition class. So I have this 5 students answer the math, right? And these are the scores. Yeah. And then let's say if they have gone through the intensive tuition class for 6 months, and then after 6 months, they are asked to answer the math question, and these are the scores recorded, right? So you can see that some of the students, or most of the some of the students, they after the tuition class, so their knowledge on maths have improved, right? So the question is now you need to determine the effectiveness of the maths tuition classes for these students. So you want to know whether the classes, the tuition intensive tuition class for this subject maths, whether it is effective or not effective, right? So to do this, so we have to run the hypothesis. For this hypothesis, you see, we are not using the two sample independent sample, right? Because these the 2 marks are dependent. It's saling berkaitan because these 2 marks atau these 2 grades comes from the same student, same individual, right? For example, student 1 before tuition class, dia punya score adalah 50. After tuition class, dia punya math score adalah 60. Same goes to the rest of the students. So in this situation, we can see that the scores are matched with the same student, student number 1. Student number 2 score 55 before the tuition class, 75 after the tuition class. So yang ni adalah hat sample. You have to use hypothesis. When you run the analysis, you need to use the hat sample, not the independent sample, right? Yeah. When you identify that this is the PET sample, so you have to write your hypothesis this way, right? Cara tulis hypothesis macam ni. So you, as mentioned in the PowerPoint slide tadi kan, so you have to show the D, mu D, and mean differences. Okay, let's say there are 2 ways for you to define your D kan. If I define my D, kalau first I define D as I use this, I define the differences when I start with this math scores before tuition. Right, my null hypothesis, mu D equals 0. And my alternative hypothesis, saya kena tulis mu D is less than 0. Ya, faham tak maksud dia? Yeah, I want to check the effective. Yes.
Can you repeat again?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So I want to check whether this tuition class is effective, berkesan atau tidak kan. So I need, if I use the first, I define the difference as math scores before tuition class tolak dengan math scores after tuition class. So kalau tuition class ini berkesan, maksudnya after the tuition class, right? So the math scores will be higher than before, right? So kalau saya define, saya punya D, saya ambil before tolak after. So saya punya alternative hypothesis mestilah smaller than, right? Baru boleh kira sebagai effective, right? Make sense or not? Kalau saya guna before tuition class, the math score tolak dengan after. So maksudnya after tuition class, saya punya math score akan lebih tinggi daripada before, baru kira effective tuition kan. So kalau I define it this way, so I need to write my alternative hypothesis as mu D is less than 0. Okay. Now, another way to define the difference. So yani alternative 1, yeah. So alternative 2. Okay, let's say if I define my D as after tolak before, after tuition class, yeah, the math scores tolak dengan before tuition class, the math score. So if the tuition class is effective, kan, after the tuition class, the math score is higher than before, kan. So maksudnya after ni akan dia punya math scores akan lebih tinggi daripada before, right? If I define it this way. So I need to write my alternative hypothesis as mu D is greater than 0. Barulah boleh kira tuition class ini adalah effective to improve the students' maths knowledge. Yeah. Are you okay? Make sense or not? So it is not. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah. You can define yang alternative yang pertama atau alternative yang kedua. Yeah. Eventually you will get the same decision, right? Kalau you punya analysis betul, you'll get the same decision, right? You'll see the example. Okay, this is the first situation. Ya, scenario yang pertama di mana kalau if this tuition class is effective, definitely atau it will make sense if you compare the math scores before and after. Yeah, so after tuition class, the math scores tend to be higher than before, right? Ini adalah scenario pertama. Okay, now we go to scenario yang kedua. Yeah, this time it is the opposite, right? Sebab dia punya situation dah berbeza. Okay, we want to check the effectiveness of the slimming course, ya, nak kuruskan badan. So kita nak check adakah dia punya kursus tu berkesan untuk menurunkan berat badan, right? So now I have six participants, 6 members to join this slimming course, right? So before the course start, so they have to wait for their weight. Kena timbang dulu setiap seorang. Okay. So participation pertama 70 kg, kedua 72, so on and so forth. Participant yang last tu adalah 65 kg. So after say 6 months of the slimming course, right? So they are asked to weight their weight again, right? So it seems that patient 1 has the weight reduced, yeah, from 70 to 65. Okay, patient participant 2, 72, dia punya weight turun 2 kg to 70. Participant yang ketiga 69, but increase slightly, yeah, 70 to 70. And then participant number 4, 81, dia punya weight turun ke 68 after the slimming course, right? Number 5, student atau participant number 5, 82 to 70, yeah, decrease a lot, yeah. So number 6 also, participant number 6, 65, weight turun ke 60 kg, right? So if you want to check whether the slimming course is effective, yeah, nak turunkan berat badan, so by right, 6 months intensive course ini akan menurunkan badan kita punya participant, right? Now, let's define mu, kan? Tadi kita we need to define, ya, mu yang scenario pertama. Mu is the mean math score, right? So kita define before minus after minus before. Then you have to decide on alternative hypothesis. Same goes to the situation number 2. If your mu, yeah, mu is equals to the mean weight, right? So you're gonna define scenario pertama. If your D is before tolak and after, if your differences is before tolak after, then before tu dia punya weight akan lebih tinggi daripada after, right? Then if this is the case, your alternative hypothesis, your mean differences is greater than 0, right? For null hypothesis, you can write either less than or equal to. atau kita terus tulis equal to pun boleh juga. Right? So this is scenario yang kedua, where we define the demand, we define the differences equal to demand before tolak after. Right? What if we have the differences after tolak before? So after maksudnya after the intensive slinging course kan, so berat badan untuk semua participant akan lebih rendah sebab semua dah healthy, dah fit, right? So after tolak before, maksudnya after dia punya, after means the weight is smaller, ya, nilai yang kecil tolak dengan nilai yang besar. So this one will get the sign less than, right? You have the less than sign. So if this is the case, yeah, for the alternative hypothesis, you can letak mu d that is less than 2, right? Now hypothesis masih lagi sama, you can put mu d equals to 0. So I give you 1 minute to digest this. Are you okay?
Okay, madam.
So you're okay, right, class? If you are okay with this explanation, right? So let's look at the hands-on now. So I want you to open the PAL Foundation. Ya, kita ambil PAL Foundation, this one. Just get ready with this data set. Are you ready with this?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So you see, okay, this PAL Foundation, the PAL is used for the construction, yeah? So the PAL number, you have plenty of PAL number, yeah, up to rubber, 300 over 311 PAL, right? There are 311 PALs production. And then you see, the company wants to estimate the PAL length, right? So the PAL length, the estimated PAL length, and then they want to compare with the actual. So estimated tu maksudnya mereka sebelum mereka buat, mereka dah estimate, okay, berapakah length dia punya lebar, ya, dia punya PAL tersebut. And then bila mereka dah buat, dah siap dan dah ada keluarkan physical punya PAL, so they compare with the estimated, right? Yeah, you see, this you have two groups, kan? You have two groups here. Satu adalah PAL length estimated, and the other one is PAL length, the actual values. And we know that these two are related, right? Dua-dua ni adalah sama dengan yang slimming cost and then maths tuition class. Yeah, the two are dependent. So in that case, we have to use the PET sample to run, right? So the question is to test for a difference in the means of the estimated and the actual power line. So kita nak compare dua group ini, dan dua group ini kita tahu dia adalah sangat saling berkaitan. So we cannot use the two independent sample anymore. We need to use the two dependent atau PET sample, right? Yeah. Okay, and yeah, to start with, right? So you're gonna tulis lah. You have to write. This is quite easy, right? Yang ni lebih senang sebab tadi adalah kita ada greater than atau less than, right? In this case, yeah, you see the question. Yeah, the question, the mean test different, right? Different. So maksudnya ada sama atau ada berbeza. Yang slimming course dengan yang tuition class adalah nak check effectiveness, berkesan atau tidak. So kalau berkesan atau tidak, kita either use greater than atau less than, depending. But here this is difference kan. Nak check perbezaan atau tidak, so you can use this one, right? This is your null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. Since this is the PET sample, so you're gonna guna mu d, right? Mu d. And then maybe you can define your let mu equals to the mu1, right? Atau you terus kepada mean, right? Mean. So mu equals mean power length. Right? Power length. Okay. So the difference here, you boleh gunalah the actual tolak dengan estimated ke, atau estimated tolak dengan actual, right? So you have this mu d. Okay, kalau difference di sini, soalan dia difference. So now hypothesis, it is equal to 0. Maksudnya the actual and the estimated are equal. For alternative hypothesis, mu d is not equals to 0. Maksudnya ada perbezaan. Bila kita ambil actual tolak dengan estimated, ada perbezaan. Dia tak sama. kosong. So maksudnya actual and estimated are different. They have the different power length, right? So kalau ada soalan macam tanya untuk difference, it is very easy, right? Very easy to do that. This is how you write your hypothesis. Next. Alpha is 5%. Independent ya. Yang independent tadi adalah yang kita guna two sample assuming unequal variances. So yang ni you guna PET sample, right? PET sample, and then you click that. Now you have this dialog box. Okay. For mu1, variable 1 kan. So you see here, yang ni you guna actual dulu kan. Actual tolak dengan estimated. Then variable 1, so you boleh guna yang actual dulu lah. So don't copy from here, ya. Jangan start dengan power length. So you need to start with the actual. Ya, you ambil actual sebab Excel kita tak boleh ambil dua cell yang ada category variable. Cuma satu aja. Satu saja untuk label, right? So you copy and paste this one. And then next variable 2, Variable 2 adalah you tengok sini kan, let's say this is you ambil actual tolak dengan estimated, and then you can have this, this is your mu1, and this is your mu2, right, mu2. Yeah. Okay. You can wait for a while as well. For variable 2, you choose the estimated, right? You can close this and then choose estimated, Control Shift down, and then the two of the inputs have filled in. Okay, and then you put hypothesis mean differences, ambil kosong. And then you need to check this label because we have selected the actual, right? Kita ada actual and estimated. Okay, thank you. And then for the output, for the output, right? For the output, you can put at any place that is available, right? So mungkin kita letak somewhere dekat sini output, right? And then I click OK. So now I got my output. So you see, first you're gonna make sure you pilih yang betul, yeah. So this is t-test, still t-test, but measuring the PET sample, PET2 sample, and you start with the actual, dengan followed by estimated, right? So these are the means of actual and estimated, and these are the observation 311, right? And okay, yang ni sama dengan t-test 2 sample assuming unequal variances, right? So you look at your hypothesis, especially on the alternative hypothesis, you have not equal sign, right? Not equal sign. Jadi kita kena pilih you have one tail, two tail, right? Not equal sign tu maksudnya kita akan ada two tail. So you refer yang ini. Are you okay so far?
Okay, man.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. So if you see, yeah, yang ni you see ada negative kan? Okay, from the output di sini kita dah dapat decision, right? So you can get from here, setakat for ni, if the question asks for the critical value approach, yeah, so you boleh compare your critical value with the t-test, test statistic. Your t-test statistic, yeah, t-test is 10.912. Your critical value to tail is 1.96, 1.968. So test statistic is larger. Precision, reject HO, right? You reject HO. Okay, if you have this, if you are asked to use the p-value approach, right? So you compare your p-value with alpha 5%, your p-value to tail. So you see ni, lihat sini kan, 1.11887 E negative 23. So you can write 1.11887 E, yeah, to the power of 10 times 10 to the power of negative 23, right? So p-value is very, very small. Ya, yang ni kita dah lihat kan. So maksudnya you kena anjak ke depan for 23 times. So you have very, very small number, close to 0 but not 0. So that means your p-value is smaller than alpha. So decision, reject H4, right? Your decision is reject H4. So in this case, you can say that there's sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis that there is a difference in the means of the estimated and the actual power length. So you boleh ambil balik statement yang ada di sini. So that is a significant difference in the means of the estimated and the actual power length. Right, so that is your conclusion. Are you okay, class? So this one, if you see it is too lengthy, so you can try to reduce it, right? Now you have this. So that's how you explain it. Are you okay?
Madam, again, conclusion.
Come again. Repeat the
Conclusion.
conclusion.
Yes.
Yeah, the decision is reject HO. Yeah, you can say that there is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. So that means that is a significant difference in the means of the estimated and the actual power length. So you boleh ambil balik dia punya statement dekat sini. Yeah. So this is the situation where you have the alternative hypothesis not equal to, right? Not equal to. Kalau you ada hypothesis yang berbentuk macam ini, right? That's the effectiveness, right? So you kena tengoklah you ambil before tolak after ke atau after tolak before. And if you have this situation, right? There is no more one tail, no more two tail, right? You have one tail, right? So the first alternative is you have the lower tail. And second alternative for the first scenario, you have greater than the sign. So this is the upper tail, right? So scenario yang kedua, yeah, for alternative yang pertama, you have the upper tail, one tail in the distribution with upper tail. Scenario yang kedua, alternative yang kedua, right? And you have the mu d less than 0. That means you have one tail to the left. Right? Yeah, you can use either scenario. Yeah, say for example, you have second scenario, second example. You boleh guna alternative pertama atau alternative kedua. Dua-dua boleh. Ya, decision akan sama. Contohnya, macam Mira guna alternatif pertama. Ya, idea guna alternatif kedua. So, dua-dua akan keluar jawapan yang sama. Your decision akan sama. Yang beza adalah in your p-test, ya. Ada satu yang ada negatif dan satu lagi yang positif. Itu saja beza dia. Ya. Yeah, any questions? So I want you to try the tutorial. Yeah, yang ni mungkin you have to think a little bit before you construct the hypothesis. So for PET sample, yeah, I have 3 sets di sini kan. So that's right. Set 1, set 2, set 3 in the list, right? So you have first you have yang ini kan. Data set Ohio education performance test for a difference in the mean score of writing and reading in all school district. So a difference di sini nak tengok ada tak beza antara mean scores of writing and reading in the districts in the data set. So yang ini you can use not equal sign in your alternative hypothesis. Okay. Yeah. Second, you have this order fulfill fulfillment picking process change? So does the new picking process improve the picking rate of the pickers? So yang ni bukan lagi two tail, yeah. So you're gonna depend on how you define your T, and then the crime rate tests for a difference in the mean crime index for 2022 and 2023. And satu lagi saya nak you all check kan, do you have this ada tak PET sample, right? You have this. You have this PET sample. So maybe we need to check. So I have set 1, set 2, set 3. Before I assign, so let's look at the mass lecture. Whether I have Excel data. Apa nama dia, PET samples. Yeah, okay, this one. So I also want you to look at this, yeah. Ini dalam your Excel data. I have 2 questions here. Yeah. So mungkin question ini nanti next class baru saya explain, right? So you all try to answer the tutorial first. Yang ni pun I want you to try, yeah. You can try this and then we'll do it together in our tutorial class. So next math lecture we will straight away go to the last hypothesis, that is that we have this chi-square, right? Kita ada chi-square. So that is the last hypothesis. Okay, for your group. So I just write set 1, set 2, set 3, yeah? So you understood based on your math lecture. Okay, someone has put this. Okay, I have this set 1, set 2, set 3. Yes, I just put it in here. Okay, today is 12. I just write set 1, yeah. This is PET sample. Hypothesis set 1, right? So you all, I hope you faham, yeah. What is this? It's set 2, and then set 3. So at the same time, I also want you to try the question that I showed you yang tadi berkaitan dengan PET sample hands-on, right? Yang tu pun penting juga. Okay, still, and then we have this set 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 3 groups, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, I think that's all for today. Any questions? So next week, I will give you the link for you to collect the data. This data, you need this data when you, yeah, that is for your group project, yeah. You have to collect the data and then use the data to analyze. Ya, apa yang kita buat dalam kelas, from the descriptive statistic to the hypothesis to the regression. Next class, I mean after the midterm break, kita ada regression. Ya, so dalam your punya group project, you kena apply apa yang kita belajar dalam kelas. Cuma data kali ini, data untuk group project adalah you kena collect sendiri, ya. But then the questions, I prepare the questionnaire for you all, and then you collect the data on your own for each of the group. So untuk group project, saya akan refer kepada yang ini. Right? This is group project. If you have 5 members, maksudnya each member collect 10 responses. Ya. Kalau you have 5, that means you must have at least 50 responses. Kalau if you have only 4 members in the group, at least one student, one member collect 10 participants. So at least 40 lah, 40. Sekurang-kurangnya 40 members. Yeah. So I'll review again next week about the group project. So for the timing, do you have any questions on the PET sample? Ada soalan nak tanya? Yes?
Can I see the Excel data again?
Which data?
Yang hands-on tadi.
PET sample. Okay. Where did I put it already? So it's somewhere, it's in your mass lecture group. Mass lecture, go to files. So ambil yang class material, Excel data. So you pilih PET sample, hands-on. And this one. So there are 2 questions here, right? So how different are students' predicted exam score and the actual? And then this is the second question. Zura?
Yang
I
part foundation
think-
data ni
Yeah.
kan?
Come
I
again?
think Azra nak tengok yang actual dan estimate tadi yang Madam tulis.
Oh, ya ke? Actual yang PAL Foundation, yang hands-on ni. Okay, this one. Okay, thank you, Adil. Yeah, Azra, is this the one?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, you need to be careful, if you have the value with E tolak dengan 23 ke tolak something, that means that value is very small, right? Yeah, the P value is very small.
Madam, can you ataskan sikit? I nak tengok yang bahagian atas.
Atas, sini. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, welcome. Ya, ada lagi yang lain? Ada soalan? Kalau tak ada, kita jumpa Monday, ya. Monday class lecture. Okay, don't forget to try the tutorial questions for the PET sample. Okay, class, bye. Take care.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you.